Hello and welcome, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. All our water signs, welcome to your week ahead TarotScopes with me, Intuitive Rene. We are doing the week of the 31st of July to the 6th of August 2023. And this week, I am sort of going back to basics with my card choice, with my deck choices. The Oracle deck that I've chosen to use this week is a firm favorite in my collection. It's one I do reach for quite often when I need an Oracle, and it's one that I just feel has such a beautiful voice. It is the amazing Enchanted Map Oracle by Colette Baron Reid, and as I said, this is a firm favorite in my collection. When I am working with oracles, this is definitely one that I do find myself reaching for quite a lot. I like the simplicity of it, the power of it, the voice that it has, the artwork, all of that. It is absolutely amazing. This is the second edition of it. The previous version had big borders and stuff, so I do have both versions, but this is definitely one of my firm favorites. So we're going to be working with the Enchanted Map Oracle, and then the tarot deck that I've chosen to use this week is, you may recognize the plaid backs. This is the standard Rider-Waite-Smith. It doesn't have any fancy names. It is just the standard. And as I said, that's why I feel like we're going back to basics with my Oracle choice and with my Tarot choice. But I can't go completely back to basics because that's just not within my scope. So this particular Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck is the 100% plastic Rider-Waite-Smith. So this particular deck is completely made out of plastic, which means it shuffles like an absolute dream. I love shuffling it. It is such an experience, a beautiful experience to shuffle, but also the artwork is so vibrant. So it is the standard, it is the basic, but it does have an element of excitement to it. So I'm going to move that tarot deck out the way, and we're going to start with the Oracle this week. So water signs being Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. As I shuffle the Enchanted Map Oracle, let's set some intentions. We're setting the intention that the card that we draw here is going to set the tone for your week ahead. It's going to help you to understand what is the main thing that you're going to be focusing on this week, what is the one thing that is important for you to be mindful of this week, and what is the one thing that you need to be navigating and working through this week. So water signs, we're allowing the Oracle to set the tone, to tell you what is important, what is relevant, and what is significant for Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces for the week of the 31st of July to the 6th of August. Right, cards are shuffled. Let's cut the deck. Take the card off the top and let's move these others out of the way. And let's see what we're dealing with, water signs. So we've got card 34. I like it. Keyword of spark. Now here we have this beautiful maiden, this beautiful lady. She is out in nature and she is playing the violin beautifully. She is shooting those arrows and shooting the hearts, and oh, it is just absolutely gorgeous. All right, I know that the coloring goes completely horrible, but look, magic, and it's back to normal. All right, water signs, I'm going to shuffle the tarot deck while we talk about spark, because you know what, spark, as much as that artwork is stunning, and as much as the word spark there seems to have a positive connotation, you know, a spark is also what sets a fire off. A spark is something that triggers something that could cause destruction. A spark is something that initiates, instigates, and creates passion, but it's also something that can trigger and go in the opposite direction. And isn't that exactly what life is all about? That sometimes the sparks that we have, the sparks that we experience, the sparks that we deal with, sometimes they move us in a positive way. They move us with passion and with enthusiasm, with love and beauty. And sometimes the sparks just trigger an avalanche, you know. Okay, not that sparks trigger avalanches, but maybe they do. But sometimes a spark just triggers a series of wildfires that can sometimes run out of, you know, run havoc. So spark isn't always a positive, but it isn't always a negative. But what we have to understand is that spark is not what causes destruction. Spark is what initiates change. It's what initiates movement, action, progress. Okay, whether that progress is good or bad obviously determines on many factors. But for you this week, water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, and being water signs, you know, water and fire, we don't mix. We don't mix. So this week, the week of the 31st of July to the 6th of August, you're going to be dealing with sparks. Everything is going to be sparking around you. You might find that you, like for those of you here in the southern hemisphere still going through winter, you might find that you've got so much static electricity that every time you touch somebody, you're sparking them. Every time you reach a door handle, you're getting a shock. You might find that things that you say spark a reaction in other people. You might find that your behaviors, your actions, your thoughts are just triggering things left, right, and center, good and bad. Okay, so and understand that this is only the week of beginning. This is only the week of the spark. We're not talking about the forest fire. We're not talking about the excitement. We're not talking about the passion and enthusiasm. We're talking about that spark, that thing that triggers. Okay, so this is a good week to start new projects. This is a good week to move on your ideas, to move on your strategies, to get that spark going. All right, we'll deal with what the spark does next week or so, but this is the week just to initiate that spark. Let's see what the tarot has to say. So card number 1 we have is the 4 of Pentacles. Card number 2 we have is the Emperor. We're very strong energy so far. We have the Ace of Wands. I'm liking it. And our last card we have is the Hierophant. Very, very nice. Okay, putting tarot out of the way, and now let's get some kind of order here. I always struggle because I look at the table, I don't look at the camera when putting them down, and then aligning them is not always easy. All right, so water signs, let's see what we've got. We've got the spark. It's that initial, that thing that triggers. If you think about a lighter, the spark is not the gas, it's not the flame, it's the thing that creates, okay? So we've got a week of spark. Now, this is the interesting one. Now, being water signs, okay? Being water signs, it's I'm going to say your standard go-to is to hold on. Your standard go-to is to keep your emotions to yourself, to hold on to your emotions, and to not allow yourself to run away like that, to not allow that spark to trigger anything, because you're afraid of being out of control. You're afraid of things running away with you. You're afraid of things becoming the forest fire when all you wanted was a little keep you warm fire. So you tend to hold on to everything. And that's just your nature, that's just who you are, that tendency to keep everything close. Okay, but sometimes we have to let go in order to let that spark jump, to let that spark fly, in order for things to progress. I want to talk about the 2 major arcana cards we have here, water signs, because Emperor and Hierophant, they're both early on. We've got card 4 and card 5. They're both early on in the progress of major arcana cards, but they're both incredibly masculine, powerful energies. Okay, the Emperor and the Hierophant, Emperor in particular, he's non-emotional. He is a fire sign. And I've mentioned a couple of times that fire and water don't mix. Fire and water, fire from the spark, water signs from your element. And here we've got another fire sign. Okay, he's water, he's fire, and fire and water don't mix, but sometimes they balance each other out to keep things in control. And this is what you need. You need that spark, but obviously we don't want too much spark. We want just enough spark to trigger a change, because everything seems to be a bit stagnant. Everything seems to be a bit stuck. Okay, so we need a spark to sort of push us out of that, but we need to remain unemotional. That's what I'm getting from this Emperor card. He is very dominant. He is very much in control. He is the masculine of masculine energies. And the one thing that he is not is emotional. The Hierophant is also unemotional. The Hierophant understands the fact, the logic, the meaning, the responsibilities, the morals. He understands all of that. But what he doesn't bring into it is the emotional side either. So we don't have any emotion here, which is so difficult, water signs, because that's who you are, and that's your makeup. That's what puts you together. But we have to allow the spark to trigger shifts, to trigger change for each one of you. And it's change that you have to trust. It's change that you have to believe in. And it's change that you're not allowed to get yourself overly emotional about. This Ace of Wands is the change. Just to put it mildly, it is the change, okay? It is whatever the spark is triggering, is this Ace of Wands. So Ace of Wands is about new creative passions and enthusiasms. Ace of Wands is about your doing, your action, the thing that you're able to do. But it's like we have to shift from the stuck mindset in order for this to take place. And the only way that you're going to do that is by being in control while letting go of control. And I know that's a bit contradictory, but that's exactly what you have to do. So Ace of Wands is saying to you that this spark, we don't know where it's going to go to. We don't know what it's going to develop into, but we have to trust. We have to trust that the spark is necessary to push the change, because I can almost guarantee, water signs, that every single one of you are looking for change in your life at the moment in one way, shape, form, or another. That change is something that you're really craving, but because we're holding on so tightly to our feelings, our emotions, our preconceived notions, our expectations, our ideals, our etc., 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 because we're holding on so tightly to that, the spark doesn't get a chance to initiate. So when we stay in control by letting go of control, that is when that spark will ignite. And that is when opportunity presents. And that is where change comes from. And this is a lesson that every single one of you need to learn this week, that you cannot control a thing by controlling it. You can control a thing by letting it go, by trusting that you've put everything in place to, like, boundaries. Okay, so I'm going to use a forest fire, felt fire, as an example. Sometimes farmers actually create these burn bridges, I think they're called. I might be wrong with the terminology, but they create these boundaries, like a sandbank, and then they set everything alight, but knowing that when it gets to that sandbank, it won't progress beyond that. So they have control by letting go of control. They then set that fire, and they know that it's going to burn wild, and it's going to burn uncontrolled, and it's going to burn out of control. But when it gets to that sandbank, to that whatever it's called, that the fire will extinguish itself. So it's about the learning, the understanding that sometimes we have to let things get out of control while you remain in control, trusting that it's going to be okay. So it's about letting go of your inhibitions a little bit, and it's about pushing things, initiating, all right? Because that's what we've got here. It's not about trying to hold on and have control. Sometimes we have to get crazy. We have to let go. We have to initiate. We have to just throw that match and trust that everything's going to work out, because you know what? It absolutely will. So water signs, your week is about beginning, it's about starts, it's about new opportunities, but the most important thing that your week is about letting go. Letting go of the control, letting go of that hold, and trust that even though it seems like it's going to burn out of control, that actually it's going to be okay, because you've got your boundaries in place, you've got your safety net in place. And that is the lesson for this week for you. Gosh, water signs, that's a biggie. That's a biggie. So I'm going to leave it there for you, sending you all much love and many blessings. And as always, until we meet again, with love and blessings from my heart to yours, take care.